Beloved soul, something extraordinary is unfolding around you at this very moment, and it is not a coincidence that you are hearing this now. On June 26th, a divine interruption breaks through the silence of your pain, and Archangel Michael steps forward with a message so powerful that it has the ability to shift everything you thought you understood about your suffering. This is not just another message of comfort. This is a revelation that has been hidden from you until now, a truth so profound that it may leave you in awe. You have cried tears that no one saw. You have carried burdens that no one could fully understand. There were nights when your heart felt too heavy to hold, when the silence around you felt louder than any noise. And in those moments, you may have believed that your pain was unnoticed, that your sorrow was slipping into nothingness. But hear this clearly, not a single tear you have shed has been ignored. Not one. There is a sacred mystery unfolding behind the veil of what your eyes can see. In the unseen realms, where divine purpose is woven with perfect precision, your tears are not falling to the ground in vain. They are being gathered, yes, gathered, by angels assigned specifically to your life. Every tear, every moment of heartbreak, every silent cry has been collected with intention, with care, and with a purpose that is only now beginning to reveal itself. This is where the shocking truth begins to unfold. What you believed was the end of your strength was actually the beginning of something far greater. Those tears you cried in despair are not signs of weakness. They are sacred waters. Waters that are being used, even now, to nourish something that has been planted deep within your spirit. Seeds of joy. Seeds of restoration. Seeds of a future so beautiful that your current pain cannot compare to what is coming. Archangel Michael is not distant from your struggle. He has been standing guard, watching over you in moments when you felt most vulnerable. There were battles you didn't even know you were fighting, spiritual battles where forces tried to break your spirit, to convince you that you were alone, forgotten, and without hope. But you are still here. You are still standing. And that alone is proof that you have been protected in ways you cannot yet fully comprehend. What if I told you that June 26th marks a turning point? A divine shift where what has been hidden begins to rise to the surface. This is not random timing. This is orchestrated. The pain you endured was never meant to destroy you. It was preparing the soil, preparing your heart, preparing your life for a harvest that is closer than you think. Right now, even if you cannot see it, something is changing. The weight you have been carrying is beginning to lift, even if only slightly. The darkness that once surrounded you is starting to crack, allowing light to break through in ways you did not expect. And that light carries a message directly from the heavens. Your tears were never wasted. Stay with this message, because what is about to be revealed next will help you understand why everything happened the way it did, and how the very thing that broke you is about to become the reason you rise. There is a reason this message has found you now, in this exact moment, at this precise point in your life. Nothing in the divine realm operates by accident, and the timing of this encounter is not it is alignment. What you are experiencing is not just a continuation of your story, but the beginning of a deeper understanding of it. You may have wondered for so long why things unfolded the way they did, why certain doors closed, why certain minds walked away, and why your heart had to carry such weight. But what if the very timing that confused you was actually protecting you? Archangel Michael is revealing that your brokenness was never a punishment. It was a process, a sacred transformation that had to take place beneath the surface, away from the eyes of the world. You see, in human understanding, brokenness feels like loss. It feels like something has been taken from you, like a part of you has been shattered beyond repair. But in the spiritual realm, Brokenness is often the moment when something false is being removed so that something true can finally take its place. There were parts of your life that could not go with you into the future that has been prepared for you. Attachments, expectations, even versions of yourself that no longer aligned with your purpose had to fall away. And yes, you hurt. It hurt deeply. Because you are human, and your heart forms connections, hopes, and dreams. But heaven saw what you could not see. Heaven knew what you could not know. While you were mourning what was lost, something greater was being positioned. While you were questioning why things were falling apart, something unseen was being carefully put together. The divine perspective does not measure time the way you do. Where you saw delay, heaven saw preparation. Where you saw silence, heaven was working in ways too intricate for your current understanding. Archangel Michael has been standing in that gap between what you feel and what is actually happening. He has been holding back forces that intended to overwhelm you, guiding moments that could have gone differently, and ensuring that even in your lowest points, you were never completely without support. This is why you made it through days you thought you wouldn't survive. This is why, even when everything felt like it was collapsing, something within you refused to give up. Brokenness, in its deepest form, is not the end of your story. It is the moment your story begins to be rewritten. It is the place where illusions fall and truth begins to emerge. And that truth may not always feel comfortable at first, because it asks you to release what you once held tightly. But in that release, space is created. Space for healing. Space for clarity. Space for something new to take root. You are not the same person you were before all of this began, and that is not something to fear. It is something to recognize. You have been refined in ways that cannot be reversed. The tears you cried did not just express pain. They carved pathways within you, making room for deeper strength, deeper compassion, and a deeper connection to the divine. And now, as this message continues to unfold, you are being invited to see your story through a different lens. Not as a series of unfortunate events, but as a divinely guided journey where every moment, especially the painful ones, served a purpose that is only now beginning to come into view. What you are about to understand next will take you even deeper into the mystery of your tears and reveal why they hold more power than you ever imagined. There is a sacred mystery about your tears that most people will never fully understand, because they have only been taught to see tears as a sign of sorrow, not as vessels of transformation. But what is being revealed to you now goes far beyond human understanding. Your tears carry weight in the spiritual realm. They carry meaning, memory, and a divine imprint that cannot be erased. Every tear you have shed has been recorded, not as a mark of your pain alone, but as evidence of your endurance. Archangel Michael is now unveiling a truth that has been hidden behind your suffering. Your tears are not lost in the dust of forgotten moments. They are gathered with precision. In the unseen realm, angels have been assigned to collect them, not randomly, but with purpose. Each tear is like a drop of sacred water, held carefully as something valuable, something that will be used at the right time in the right way. There were moments when you cried in silence, when no one reached out, when no one truly understood the depth of what you were feeling. In those moments, it felt like your pain was disappearing into emptiness. But heaven was closer than you realized. Those quiet, broken whispers of your heart were being heard, and your tears were being received as offerings, not weaknesses. This is where the revelation deepens. Your tears are not just being stored. They are being used. They are being poured, like water onto seeds that have been planted within your life. Seeds you may not even remember planting. Seeds of hope, of renewal, of purpose, and of joy that has not yet taken form in your reality. What you experienced as loss is now becoming nourishment for something that is still growing beneath the surface. Think about that for a moment. The very thing that made you feel empty is now being used to create fullness. The sorrow that made you question everything is now becoming the source of something beautiful. This is not symbolic alone. It is spiritual truth. Nothing you have gone through has been wasted. Not a single moment of heartbreak, not a single tear, have been without purpose. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this process. He has seen every tear, every breaking point, every moment when you felt like you had nothing left to give. And yet, even in those moments, something within you continued to endure. That endurance is what gave your tears their power. That endurance is what allowed them to become more than just expressions of pain. They became instruments of transformation. There is also something else you must understand. Tears carry honesty. When you cried, you were not pretending. You were not hiding. You were fully exposed in your truth, and that kind of honesty has a powerful effect in the spiritual realm. It opens pathways that cannot be accessed through strength alone. It invites divine intervention in ways that pride and control never could. This is why your story is shifting now, because those tears have completed their purpose. They have done their work beneath the surface, and what they have been nurturing is beginning to respond. You may not see it fully yet, but you can feel something changing. A quiet stirring. A subtle sense that something is about to break through. Do not dismiss that feeling. It is real. It is the result of everything you have endured, everything you have released, and everything that has been happening behind the scenes. Type "My tears were not in vain" in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 739 is now activated over your life. And as this sacred truth settles into your heart, understand this as well. When you respond to a message like this, you are not just listening. You are participating in a divine movement. There are others who are still in the darkness you once stood in, still questioning if their pain has meaning. When you choose to extend your support, you become part of the light that reaches them. I feel called to help this message reach someone who is still crying in silence. If that thought has touched your heart, then this is your moment to act. Scripture declares that those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and right now, your giving becomes a seed planted into the lives of others. Through your super thanks or your PayPal offering, found in the video description and through the QR code, you are helping carry this message of hope further than you can see. As you give, see it not as a transaction, but as a release. A release of faith, a release of obedience. And hear this clearly: what you sow in this moment will return to you, multiplied in ways only heaven can orchestrate. So step into this act with confidence. Move as one who understands that even your giving is part of a greater plan. Act now, and let your seed become someone else's answered prayer. There is something quietly forming beneath the surface of your life right now, something so intentional and so carefully nurtured that if you could see it with spiritual eyes, it would change the way you interpret everything you have been through. What Archangel Michael is revealing in this moment is that your life is not in a state of delay. It is in a state of cultivation. And the seeds that have been planted within you are not ordinary. They are seeds of joy, planted during seasons when joy felt impossible. You may be wondering how joy can grow from a place that felt so empty, so broken, so uncertain. It does not seem logical. It does not seem fair. But divine processes are not bound by human logic. What feels like contradiction to you is often the very method heaven uses to bring about transformation. The soil that produces the strongest, most enduring growth is not the soil that has never been disturbed. It is the soil that has been broken open, turned over, and exposed. Your heart has gone through that breaking. It has been opened in ways you did not choose, stretched in ways you did not expect. But in that breaking, space was created. Space for something new to be planted, something that could not have taken root in the version of you that existed before. The seeds of your future joy required a deeper place to grow, and the depth could only be formed through what you experienced. Archangel Michael is guiding you to understand that the process of planting is often invisible. When a seed is placed into the ground, it disappears from sight. There is no immediate evidence that anything is happening. In fact, from a surface perspective, it can look like nothing has changed at all. But beneath that surface, a quiet and powerful process begins. The seed responds to what surrounds it. It absorbs, it transforms, and it prepares to emerge. This is where many lose faith because they expect to see results immediately. They expect visible proof that their pain is leading somewhere. But the truth is, the most important stages of growth happen where you cannot see them. And right now, your life is in one of those stages. The tears that were gathered have already been poured into that soil. They have already begun their work, nourishing what has been planted. You may not yet see the full expression of joy in your life, but there are signs if you look closely. A moment of peace where there used to be only anxiety. A small sense of hope where there was once only heaviness. A quiet strength rising within you that you cannot fully explain. These are not random feelings. These are early signs of growth. These are the first movements of something that is beginning to take shape. Do not underestimate these small shifts. They are evidence that the process is working. They are proof that what has been planted is alive. And as you continue forward, those small signs will become more noticeable, more consistent, more undeniable. What starts as a whisper will become a voice. What begins as a feeling will become a reality. Archangel Michael is also reminding you that every seed has its own timing. Some grow quickly, while others take longer to break through the surface. But the timing does not determine the value. In fact, the seeds that take longer often produce the most lasting and meaningful results. Your journey has not been rushed because what is being prepared for you is not temporary. It is something that will remain, something that will sustain you long after the season has passed. There is also a deeper layer to this process. The seeds of joy are not just external blessings, they are internal transformations. They are shaping who you are becoming. They are aligning your heart with a new reality, one where joy is not dependent on circumstances, but rooted in something far more stable and unshakable. This is why patience is being asked of you now. Not passive waiting, but active trust. Trust that even when you cannot see the growth, it is happening. Trust that even when you feel uncertain, the process is still moving forward. Trust that what hath been planted within you is destined to rise, because it will rise. And when it does, you will look back at this season not as a time of loss, but as the beginning of something that changed everything. There is a battle that has been taking place around your life that you were never meant to fully see, because if you had witnessed the intensity of it, it might have overwhelmed you. Yet even without seeing it, you have felt its effects. The heaviness, the confusion, the sudden waves of doubt, the moments when everything seemed to fall apart without warning. These were not random ganai. They were part of a deeper spiritual conflict, one that required protection far beyond human strength. Archangel Michael has been standing at the center of that unseen battlefield, not as a distant observer, but as an active defender of your destiny. While you were navigating your pain on the surface, he was confronting forces that sought to break your spirit beneath it. There were attacks meant to weaken your faith, to distort your identity, and to convince you that your story was heading toward defeat. But those attacks did not succeed. You may have felt broken, but you were never defeated. There is a difference, and it is important that you understand it now. Brokenness can shape you, refine you, and prepare you, but defeat would have ended your ability to rise. And the fact that you are still here, still listening, still seeking meaning, is evidence that defeat never had the final say in your life. There were moments when you questioned your own strength, when you wondered how much more you could climb. But what you did not realize was that your strength was not coming from you alone. There was divine reinforcement surrounding you, holding you steady when you felt like collapsing. There were protections placed around your mind, your heart, and your path that prevented things from becoming worse than they already felt. Archangel Michael operates as a guardian, a warrior of light who ensures that what has been assigned to your life cannot be stolen or destroyed. This does not mean you were spared from pain, but it means your purpose was never at risk of being lost. The enemy may have tried to delay you, to distract you, even to discourage you, but your purpose remained intact through it all. And now, as you stand on the edge of a new season, it is time to reclaim something that may have been quietly taken from you during those battles: your identity. Not the identity shaped by pain, not the version of yourself defined by what you went through, but the identity that was always yours beneath the surface. The one that carries strength, resilience, and divine purpose. Pain has a way of making you forget who you are. It can narrow your perspective until all you see is what you have lost, what you lack, or what went wrong. But that is not the full picture. Beneath all of that, there is a version of you that has been growing stronger with every challenge you faced. A version of you that understands more, feels more deeply, and stands more firmly than before. This is the version of you that is stepping forward now. The one who hath been refined, not destroyed. The one who has endured, not disappeared. The one who is ready to move beyond survival and into restoration. Archangel Michael is calling you to recognize this shift, to see yourself not as someone who barely made it through, but as someone who was carried through with purpose. Every battle you faced added something to you, even if it did not feel that way at the time. Strength was added, wisdom was added, discernment was added, and now those qualities are becoming tools for what lies ahead. You are not returning to who you were before all of this began. You are stepping into someone new, someone who cannot be shaken as easily, someone who understands the value of what truly matters, someone who is aligned with a deeper truth. This is the restoration process beginning to take form, not as a sudden change, but as a steady unfolding, a reclaiming of what was always yours, now strengthened by everything you have been through. And as this continues to unfold, you will begin to see that the battles you faced were not meant to stop you. They were meant to prepare you for a level of strength and clarity you would not have reached any other way. Something is shifting now, and even if you cannot fully explain it, you can feel it. It is subtle at first, almost like a whisper moving through your spirit, but it carries a weight that cannot be ignored. After everything you have endured, after all the moments that tested your strength, there is finally a change in the atmosphere around your life. Archangel Michael is revealing that you are no longer standing in the same season that once held you captive. There are signs, quiet, almost unnoticeable signs, that your season is beginning to turn. You may find that your thoughts are not as heavy as they used to be. Situations that once triggered deep pain may now feel different, less intense, more distant. There is a lightness trying to enter your heart, even if it only appears for brief moments. These are not coincidences. These are indicators that something within you has already begun to heal. You might also notice changes in your environment. New opportunities may begin to appear, conversations may shift, and paths that once felt blocked may slowly start to open. At first, these changes may seem small, almost insignificant compared to what you have been through. But do not dismiss them. These are the early movements of a breakthrough that has been building behind the scenes. Archangel Michael is guiding these shifts with precision. Nothing is happening randomly. Every new opening, every unexpected moment of peace, every subtle redirection is part of a greater orchestration designed to lead you into what has been prepared for you. Even the things that do not go as planned are being used to align you more closely with your path. This is why you are being asked to become more aware, more present, not in a way that creates pressure, but in a way that allows you to recognize what is unfolding. When you pay attention, you begin to see patterns. You begin to notice that things are not as stagnant as they once seemed. Movement is happening, even if it is slow, even if it is not yet fully visible. There is also a release happening within you. The weight you carried for so long is starting to loosen its hold. Old emotions that once felt overwhelming are beginning to soften. You may find yourself letting go of things that once felt impossible to release, memories, attachments, fears. This is not because those things never mattered, but because they no longer have the same place in your life. Archangel Michael is helping you clear space for what is coming. You cannot carry everything from your past into your future. Some things must be released, not as a loss, but as a transition. And while letting go can feel uncertain, it is also necessary. It is what allows new energy, new experiences, and new joy to enter. At the same time, you are being prepared internally. Your heart is adjusting. Your mind is becoming clearer. Your perspective is expanding. You are beginning to see beyond the pain that once defined your experience, and in its place, a new understanding is emerging. You are starting to recognize that what you went through did not just take from you. It also gave to you in ways you are only now beginning to realize. This preparation is essential, because what is coming requires a version of you that is ready to receive it. Not just externally, but internally. Joy is not just something that arrives. It is something that must be held, sustained, and embraced. And you are being shaped into someone who can do exactly that. There may still be moments of doubt. There may still be days when the old feelings try to return. But those moments do not define your direction anymore. They are echoes, not realities. The truth is, you are moving forward, even when it does not feel like it. Trust the shift. Trust the process. Trust the subtle changes that are taking place, because they are leading you somewhere significant. And as you continue, you will begin to see more clearly that this is not just a small improvement in your circumstances. This is the beginning of a transformation that will touch every area of your life. There comes a moment in every deeply transformative journey when everything you have been through begins to rearrange itself into meaning. Not all at once, not in a way that overwhelms you, but in quiet realizations that start to connect the pieces. This is where you are now. You are stepping into the phase where your tears begin to form a testimony, where your pain starts to reveal its purpose, and where your story begins to shift from survival into transformation. Archangel Michael is guiding you through this transition with care, because this stage is delicate. It asks you to look back, not to relive the pain, but to understand it. To see it not as something that broke you beyond repair, but as something that shaped you into who you are becoming. And that perspective does not come easily. It requires patience. It requires grace with yourself. And most of all, it requires honesty. You are not being asked to pretend that what you went through was easy. It was not. There were moments that stretched you to your limits, moments that left you questioning everything. But those moments also uncovered something within you that may have remained hidden otherwise. Strength that you did not know you possessed. Resilience that you did not realize was part of you. A depth of feeling and understanding that could only come through experience. This is what transformation looks like. It is not about erasing the past. It is about allowing the past to refine you instead of define you. There is a difference. When something defines you, it limits you. It places you in a fixed identity shaped by what happened. But when something refines you, it expands you. It adds to who you are without taking away your ability to grow beyond it. Archangel Michael is helping you shift into that refinement. You may notice that the way you respond to things is changing. Situations that once would have shaken you deeply may now feel different. You may still feel, but you are not overwhelmed in the same way. There is a steadiness forming within you, a quiet strength that allows you to stand without being consumed. This is not accidental. It is the result of everything you have been through working together to build something stronger within you. Even the moments that felt like setbacks contributed to this growth. Even the times when you felt like you were losing ground were actually shaping your ability to move forward with greater awareness. There is also a deeper alignment happening. You are beginning to feel drawn toward things that resonate with who you are becoming, not who you were. Your values may be shifting. Your priorities may be changing. You may find yourself letting go of what no longer feels right, even if it once felt essential. This is part of the realignment process. It is how you move closer to your true path. Archangel Michael is supporting this alignment by clearing what no longer belongs and guiding you toward what does. Sometimes this guidance comes through clarity, a sudden knowing that something is right or wrong for you. Other times it comes through experience, through situations that show you what aligns and what does not. Either way, you are being led. As this transformation continues, it is important that you give yourself permission to grow. Do not hold yourself to the expectations of who you used to be. Do not measure your progress against a past version of yourself that no longer exists. You are not meant to return to that place. You are meant to move forward into something new. There may still be moments when you feel uncertain, when you question whether you are truly changing or if this is just a temporary shift. But look closely. The evidence is there. In your thoughts, in your reactions, in your ability to hold space for yourself in ways you could not before. These are not small changes. They are signs of deep transformation. And this transformation is leading somewhere. It is not happening in isolation. It is preparing you for what comes next, a stage where the internal changes you have experienced begin to manifest externally, where the strength you have gained becomes visible in your life, where the seeds that have been planted begin to rise above the surface. You are closer than you think, not just to relief but to renewal. And as you continue forward, you will begin to see that everything you have been through is now working together, guiding you toward a future that carries more purpose, more clarity, and more joy than you once believed was possible. There is a momentum building now that cannot be stopped, and even if it has not fully revealed itself yet, it is already in motion. What once felt delayed is now accelerating. What once felt distant is now drawing near. You are entering a phase where breakthrough is no longer just a possibility. It is becoming a reality that is preparing to unfold in ways you may not expect. Archangel Michael is making it clear that the shift you have been sensing is not temporary. It is the beginning of something significant. Breakthrough does not always arrive in dramatic, overwhelming ways. Sometimes it begins quietly, through moments that seem small on the surface but carry deep meaning beneath. A door opens that you did not even know was there. A connection forms at the right time. A burden you have carried suddenly feels lighter without explanation. These moments are not sluchaiakaki. They are carefully aligned steps that lead you into something greater. You may also begin to notice unexpected blessings appearing in your life. Things you did not plan for, opportunities you did not chase, moments of peace that arrive without warning. These are signs that the seeds planted during your season of pain are beginning to rise. The joy that once felt so far away is now finding its way back to you, piece by piece. Archangel Michael is orchestrating this restoration with precision. There is nothing random about what is happening. Every blessing, every moment of healing, every step forward is part of a larger design that has been unfolding long before you were aware of it. Even the timing is intentional. What is coming to you now could not have arrived earlier, because you were still in the process of becoming ready to receive it. Restoration is not just about getting back what was lost. It is about receiving something that carries deeper meaning, greater alignment, and lasting value. In some cases, what returns to you may look different than what you expected. It may come in a new form, through a different path, or in a way that exceeds what you originally imagined. This is because restoration is not limited to replacing what was. It is about elevating what will be. You are also being prepared emotionally for this shift. Joy, when it returns after a long season of pain, can feel unfamiliar at first. It can feel almost fragile, as if it might disappear. But this joy is not fragile. It is rooted in everything you have been through. It carries strength within it because it was formed through endurance, through patience, through faith that persisted even when you could not see the outcome. Archangel Michael is guiding you to embrace this joy without fear. You do not have to hold back. You do not have to expect it to be taken away. What is being given to you now is meant to stay, to grow, and to become a part of your life in a lasting way. This is why you were prepared so carefully, so that when this moment arrived, you would be able to receive it fully. There is also a restoration happening within your spirit. Confidence is returning. Hope is becoming stronger. The sense of heaviness that once surrounded you is being replaced with a lightness that allows you to move forward more freely. You are beginning to feel like yourself again, but not the same version of yourself. A stronger, clearer, more grounded version. This is the breakthrough you have been waiting for. Not just a change in circumstances, but a shift in your entire being. A movement from surviving to living. From enduring to experiencing. From questioning to understanding. Type "I am ready for my breakthrough" in the comments if you feel this shift happening within you. Blessing code 842 is now released over your path. And as this breakthrough energy flows into your life, understand this. You are not the only one meant to receive this light. There are others still standing in the place you once stood, still waiting for a sign, still searching for hope. When you choose to act in this moment, you become a bridge between where they are and where you are now. I am ready to be part of someone else's breakthrough. If the truth resonates within you, then do not hesitate. The word declares that when you pour into others, it is poured back into you, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. Your giving is not ordinary. It is a prophetic act that multiplies beyond what you can see. Through your super thanks or your PayPal donation, available in the video description and through the QR code, you are helping this message reach the hearts that need it most. You are sowing into souls, into healing, into restoration. And as you release your seed, heaven responds. So step forward in faith. Act now. Let your obedience in this moment become a river of hope for someone else, and watch how that same river flows back into your life with abundance. There is a powerful shift that must now take place within you, one that will determine how fully you step into everything that has been prepared for your life. You have come through the breaking, the waiting, the refining, and now you are standing at the edge of manifestation. But there is something essential that will either accelerate or delay what is coming, and that is the posture of your heart. Archangel Michael is guiding you into a deeper understanding of gratitude, not as a reaction to what you receive, but as a force that helps bring it into being. Gratitude, in its truest form, is not dependent on visible results. It is a recognition of what is already in motion, even before it fully appears in your reality. This is where many struggle, because it requires you to feel thankful in a moment that may not yet reflect what you have been hoping for. But this is exactly where the power lies. When you give thanks before you see the outcome, you align yourself with the truth that something is already happening. Think about how far you have come. There were days when you could not see beyond your pain, when the idea of peace felt unreachable. Yet here you are, moving forward, understanding more, feeling something shifting within you. That alone is reason for gratitude. Not because everything is perfect, but because everything is changing. Archangel Michael is encouraging you to begin speaking life into your future. Your words carry weight, more than you may realize. What you speak consistently becomes the atmosphere around you. If your words are filled with doubt, fear, or expectation of disappointment, that atmosphere becomes heavy, restrictive. But when your words begin to reflect trust, hope, and belief, something shifts. The atmosphere begins to open. This does not mean ignoring your reality or pretending that challenges do not exist. It means choosing to speak beyond them, choosing to declare that what you have been promised is still on its way, choosing to affirm that your tears add purpose, that your pain is turning into something meaningful, that your breakthrough is not only possible but already forming. There is also a release that must happen here. Fear and doubt have had a place in your journey, especially during the moments when everything felt uncertain. But they cannot move with you into this next phase. They will try to follow you, to remind you of what went wrong in the past, to make you question whether things can truly be different. But you are no longer in that place. Archangel Michael is helping you separate from those old patterns. You may notice that when doubt arises, it no longer feels as convincing as it once did. When fear tries to take hold, there is something within you that resists it. That resistance is your growth. It is the evidence that you are no longer aligned with those thoughts in the same way. Gratitude strengthens that alignment. Every time you choose to be thankful, even in small ways, you reinforce the direction you are moving in. You remind yourself that your story is not defined by what you have been through, but by what you are moving toward. You anchor yourself in the belief that something good is unfolding, even if it is not fully visible yet. There is also a deeper connection forming between you and the divine as you step into this gratitude. It is not just about words, it is about awareness. Awareness that you are supported, that you are guided, that your life is part of something greater. This awareness creates a sense of peace that goes beyond circumstances. It allows you to remain steady, even when things are still in progress. Archangel Michael is inviting you to practice this daily, not as an obligation but as a choice. A choice to see what is working instead of only what is missing. A choice to acknowledge the small shifts, the quiet progress, the moments of light that are beginning to appear. As you continue, you will begin to notice that gratitude changes how you experience your life. It opens your perspective. It softens the weight of uncertainty. It allows you to move forward with a sense of trust rather than tension. And as this trust deepens, something else begins to activate within you. a stronger faith, a faith that does not rely on immediate proof, but stands firm in the understanding that what hath been set in motion cannot be undone. There is a deeper layer you are now being invited into, one that goes beyond understanding and enters into embodiment. You have heard the message, you have felt the shift, you have begun to see the signs, but now comes the moment where faith must take its rightful place in your life. Not as a distant idea, not as something you reach for only in difficulty, but as a steady foundation beneath everything you do. Archangel Michael is calling you into a faith that holds firm even when the outcome is not yet visible. Faith is often misunderstood. Many believe it only exists when certainty is present, when there is clear evidence that something will happen. But true faith is formed in the absence of certainty. It is strengthened in moments when you have every reason to doubt, yet you choose to trust anyway. And this is where your journey has been leading you all along. Think back to the moments when you had no answers, when nothing around you seemed to make sense. You kept moving forward, even if it was one small step at a time. You held on, even when your strength felt limited. It was faith, even if you did not recognize it at the time. It was not loud or dramatic. It was quiet, persistent, and steady. Archangel Michael has been strengthening that faith within you, preparing you for this very phase. Because what is ahead requiring more than hope, it requires trust. Trust that what hath been set in motion will reach completion. Trust that what hath been promised will come to pass. Trust that even if the path is not fully clear, you are still being guided. There is also a lesson in timing that you are now beginning to understand. Human nature often wants immediate results. It wants to see the outcome before believing in the process. But divine timing operates differently. It is not rushed, and it is not delaying, it is precise. Every moment is aligned with a greater plan, one that considers not just your desires, but your readiness. This is why patience hath been such a significant part of your journey. Not to test you, but to prepare you. Patience hath been shaping your ability to remain steady, to stay grounded even when things are unfolding slowly. It hath been teaching you that waiting is not wasted time. It is part of the process. Archangel Michael is reminding you now that patience is not passive. It is active trust. It is the choice to remain aligned with what you believe, even when you cannot yet see it. It is the ability to continue moving forward without forcing outcomes, without trying to control what is not yours to control. There may still be moments when you feel the urge to question the timing, when you wonder why things are not happening faster. But in those moments, return to what you know. Return to the truth that everything you have experienced has led you to this point. Return to the awareness that nothing has been accident. Every delay had a purpose. Every pause had a reason. As you continue to anchor yourself in faith, you will begin to feel a different kind of peace. Not the kind that comes from having all the answers, but the kind that comes from knowing you do not need them right now. The kind that allows you to rest in the process, rather than resist it. Archangel Michael is also guiding you to release the need for control. This can be difficult, especially after a season where so much felt uncertain. The desire to hold on tightly, to ensure that nothing goes wrong, is understandable. A control limits flow. It creates tension where there should be trust. When you release control, you create space. Space for things to unfold naturally. Space for divine alignment to take place without interference. Space for outcomes that may be even better than what you imagine. This does not mean you become passive in your life. It means you move with intention, while allowing the greater plan to guide the details. You take steps forward, but you do not force the path. You remain open, aware, and willing to adjust as needed. And as you continue in this faith, something powerful begins to happen. What once felt distant starts to feel closer. What once seemed uncertain begins to feel inevitable. Not because you have seen it yet, but because you have aligned yourself so fully with the process that you no longer question its outcome. You are not waiting anymore in the way you once were. You are now walking towards something that is already on its way to meet you. Here's a moment that arrives after a long season of endurance, a moment so quiet yet so powerful that it changes everything without needing to announce itself. This is the moment of harvest. Not the kind you once imagined, not something loud or overwhelming at first, but something deeply real, deeply personal, and impossible to deny once you recognize it. Archangel Michael is now revealing that you are standing at the edge of that moment. The harvest is not just about receiving blessings. It is about understanding them. It is about finally seeing the connection between what you went through and what is now being placed in your life. There were times when you asked why, when nothing made sense, when the weight of your journey felt too much to carry. But now, slowly and clearly, those questions are being answered, not always through words but through experience. You may begin to notice that the things coming into your life now carry a different kind of meaning. They are not just random events or temporary moments of happiness. They feel aligned. They feel intentional. They feel like they belong to you in a way that previous experiences did not. This is because they are connected to everything you have been through. They are the result of the seeds that were planted, the tears that were gathered, the faith that was held even when it was difficult. Archangel Michael has been guiding this process from the beginning, ensuring that nothing was lost, that every part of your journey contributed to what you are now stepping into. The harvest you are entering is not illustr. It is precise. It reflects not only what you endured, but who you became in the process. There is also a deep sense of fulfillment that begins to rise within you during this phase. Not necessarily because everything is perfect, but because you can feel that things are right. There is a difference. Perfection is often an illusion, something that constantly shifts and remains out of reach. But alignment, that feeling that you are where you are meant to be, that is real. And that is what you are beginning to experience. You may find yourself looking back at your past with a different perspective. The pain that once felt overwhelming now carries a sense of meaning. The moments that once felt like endings now appear as turning points. This does not erase what you went through, but it transforms how you hold it. It allows you to move forward without being weighed down by it. Archangel Michael is helping you integrate this understanding, so that your past becomes a foundation rather than a burden. This integration is what allows you to fully step into your new season. Without it, you might still feel pulled back by old emotions or old narratives. But with it, you move forward with clarity and confidence. There is also an invitation here to embrace what is coming without hesitation. Sometimes, after a long period of struggle, it can feel unfamiliar to receive good things. You may question whether it will last, whether it is truly meant for you, whether it might be taken away. But those thoughts are echoes of the past, not reflections of your present. What is coming into your life now is not illustr or temporary. It is part of your harvest. It has been prepared, protected, and positioned for you. And you are ready for it, even if it feels new. Archangel Michael is encouraging you to open your heart fully, to receive without fear, to allow yourself to experience joy without holding back. This is not the time to remain guarded. This is the time to step into what you have been moving toward. You have carried enough. You have waited long enough. You have endured more than you thought you could. And now, you are being invited to experience the result of that journey, The harvest is not just something that happens around you. It is something that happens within you. A realization that you are no longer the same. A recognition that you have grown, that you have changed, that you have become someone capable of holding what is now being given. And as you stand in this moment, you begin to understand something deeply important. Nothing you went through was in vain. Every tear, every struggle, every moment of uncertainty led you here. You are not arriving at the end of your story. You are stepping into a new beginning, one that carries the fullness of everything you have become. Gentle soul, as this message comes to its close, there is a calm and sacred stillness surrounding you now. Not the kind of silence that once felt heavy, but a peaceful quiet that carries reassurance. A quiet that whispers to your spirit that everything is going to be all right. On June 26, this message from Archangel Michael is not illustr. It was meant to find you, to reach you at the exact moment your heart was ready to receive it. You have walked through pain that few could truly understand. You have faced moments where your strength was tested beyond what felt possible. And yet, here you are, still standing, still breathing, still open enough to receive this message. That alone is a testimony of the grace that has been carrying you all along. As you reflect on everything that has been revealed, let this truth settle deeply within you. Your tears were never wasted. Not one of them. Every tear you shed was seen, gathered, and used in ways that are now beginning to unfold in your life. What once felt like loss is now becoming the very foundation of your joy. Archangel Michael is near you even now, not as a distant figure, but as a presence that has walked with you through every moment of your journey. Through the nights of uncertainty, through the days of quiet endurance, through every silent prayer that you thought went unheard, he was there. And he is still here. There is no need to rush forward from this moment. Allow yourself to rest in what you now understand. Allow your heart to breathe. You do not have to carry the same weight anymore. The burden is lifting, the season is changing, and the light that is entering your life is not temporary. It is here to stay. You are stepping into a chapter that carries peace, clarity, and a deeper sense of purpose. It may not all appear at once, but it will come in ways that feel right, in ways that align with who you have become. Trust that. Trust yourself. Trust the journey that has brought you here. And when moments of doubt try to return, remember this message. Remember that there was a time when you could not see beyond your pain, and now you are standing in a place of understanding. That alone proves that change is real, that transformation is possible, and that what lies ahead carries even greater promise. Archangel Michael leaves you with this assurance. You are protected, you are guided, and you are deeply loved. There is nothing in your past that can cancel what has been prepared for your future. The path before you is open, and you are ready to walk it. Take a deep breath and receive this peace fully. Type "I receive my joy" in the comments if you are ready to step into this new chapter. Blessing code 999 is now sealed over your life. And as this message settles into your spirit, hear this calling as well. There are still hearts out there crying the same tears you once cried, still waiting for a sign that their pain has meaning. This is where your obedience becomes part of something greater. I choose to help this light reach someone who is still in the dark. If this rises within you, then this is your moment to act. The word speaks that those who sow beside still waters will see rivers open in their own lives. Your giving today is not small. It is a seed of light, a drop of oil that fuels this message to reach the brokenhearted across the world. Through your super thanks or your PayPal donation, found in every video description and through the QR code, you are stepping into a prophetic act. As you release your seed, heaven releases increase, As you pour into this mission, doors open over your life in ways you cannot predict. So do not wait. Move with faith. Give as one who knows that every seed carries a harvest. Let your obedience speak, and let your offering become someone else's answered prayer.